Oh, if you think for 1 second I'm going to turn this funky groove off, you are crazy. But I will restart the stream labels. How you doing there? It's Funky Friday on the Morning Night Live, and it turned itself off because that was the end of the song. Okay, never mind. How about this one? Now this is some old school 70s action movie shit, but I love it. Good morning. I got my cup of Joe, aka reparations, ready to go. Yes, I meant for that to rhyme. It's Funky Friday in the Morning Night Live, but it's also Open Mic Friday on the Morning Night Live. I want to hear from you, talk about the week. I'd love to talk mostly about the Rittenhouse trial and see some things that maybe I've missed that you've seen or whatever. Maybe I've got it here. I got a couple news clips that made me laugh. But the green room's open. The link's up at the top. It'll be popping up in the chat. It's in the description. Is it in the description? I don't think I put it in the description. It don't matter. You can find it if you're here. Okay, I want to just put it out on Twitter. Anyone want to talk about the Rittenhouse trial and just see who shows up? In fact, that's what I'm going to do. You know what? Let's do that. I only got unfortunately, I got a short day today because I'm late because of this guy right here. I was a little late. So anyway, we'll do that more right after the intro. I should probably, well, here, let's do this. I got an idea. Johnny, I'll take care of this. You play the intro right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight.
Alrighty then, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Night Live on this Open Mic Friday, but also Funky Friday. And let's just revel in some of this buddy cop 70s glory. In the morning night live. By the way, I am your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel on this lovely Friday, the 12th of November, 2021, where if you're a kid in Kenosha, we're going to find out if you're allowed to protect your own life. Anyway, I hope you all are having a good morning. I am. We're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. The link is in the pinned comment up there. And I see my friend Scribe is in the house, so we're definitely going to bring in Scribe in just a moment. I'll turn off the music when we talk. Don't worry. And but I do want to. Oh gosh, what do I want to do here? If I'm completely and utterly disgusted with the media right now, and in fact, let's just stop this music thing because this is not going to work today. It's just not. I got too many things I got to say. I want to make sure I get Scribe in here. Also, if you'd like to be part of the show today, the green room is linked at the top of the chat there, and we'll get into that. But I just want to show you one thing that infuriated me, and then we'll start having some people jump into the show because one of the witnesses for the prosecution, who is also what they call him a, what is this? Something, not cooperating with it. He's a kind of a complainant. They consider him a complainant because he's one of the people who was, in the prosecution's mind, criminally assaulted by young Kyle Rittenhouse. Gage Grosskreutz, destroyed on the stand, looked like an idiot. He tried to come. The prosecution tried to make him off to be the angel, Gage Grosskreutz, but in reality, it was devastating for the prosecution. I just got to tell you, it was almost comical for the prosecution because he had to admit, one, that he lied to the police, he lied to the FBI, he lied to by omission in his lawsuit against the city for $10 million, and he had to admit that that Kyle did not shoot him until he pointed his gun at Kyle. Now, so both have a self-defense claim, right? This person decides to go on Good Morning America yesterday. And I want to show you that very short interview. And we're just going to watch. And if you've been following me, you've been following the show, you know what's going on, right? Well, this jackass decides to go on Good Morning America. And they do a short interview. So we're going to watch this interview. But just before we do that, just before we do that, let me say good morning to the troops. And I mean my homies in the chat. That would be, first in the chat today was our good friend from that little island that, over there in the other side of the pond. Mike Savage, Blarg, who was first in the chat today. Thank you for being here, sir. Also, good morning to Selective Boys in the house. Yeah, also, good morning to Somnambule Nation. Thank you for tweeting out the show as you always do. I greatly appreciate that. Good morning, Advocatus Diabli, Jaded Clay. Good morning, K-Show's in the house. Also, HP Lovecraft, what's up? Good morning to Dumb Beard. Nice to see you. Also, I said it, HP Lovecraft. News of the week is in the house. Will Sinner, good morning. Also, good morning to Let's Go Brandon, a.k.a. Renee Mayette. Don Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. Cannon Hotep, salute, sir. Good morning also to, well, I know Scribe Light's here because he's in there he is. He waves. I see you there, Scribe. Also, good morning to, and I can't, who else? Patrice Ripley, the K-pop aficionado of the Morning Night Live. Okay. Actually, Scribe, I'm going to bring you in here, and I'm going to see if this works. I'm running 2 different programs right now, everybody, as you may know when I do this. And I don't know how well this will work, but I'm going to see. I'm going to bring in Scribe before I put this thing on the screen, though, because I don't know if Scribe's seen this. And we'll all watch it together, and Scribe's pretty good at astute commentary on things like this. So first, let's say good morning to Scribe Light.
Dawg Thrapple.
Dawg Thrapple. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I am fantastic. Now, I'm going to attempt to do something I've never done.
Oh, with me?
Yeah,
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know how you are. Don't get me going, Scribe. Anyway, I'm going to attempt to share this with Scribe through StreamYards, but also share with the gang.
Oh, okay.
Through Streamlabs. So let's see. I'm going to make sure that you hear the audio, and I'm going to try to make it so it doesn't double up. Okay, so there you should be getting it. Even though it's just going to be us on the screen. But then when I change this,
yes,
there's an Inception.
There's Infinity.
Now, do you see Michael Strahan right now, Scribe?
I do.
Fantastic. Now, on my screen, we'll get Michael Strahan on my screen now, which, let's see. Let's just full screen there. Well, that'll do that in a second, and we'll do full
did you make
screen.
sure to share the audio with the tab?
I shared the audio with you. Yes,
okay,
I did.
Good.
All right. We're looking good. So, here we go. and Scribe, out of curiosity, have you been watching the trial?
I have seen. I watched most of the day where Grosskreutz was testifying. I watched when Rittenhouse was testifying and bits and pieces in between. Yes.
All right, fantastic. So you know the testimony of Gabe Grosskreutz and the utter disaster that turned into it by the end of this day, right?
Yes. I do.
Okay, good. So here he went on Good Morning America yesterday. Did you hear about this?
I did hear about it. Yes, Twitter tells me many things.
Okay, so here is our good friend Michael Strahan interviewing Gabe Grosskreutz. Describe anytime you would like me to stop, because I will stop just because I will. But if you'd like me to stop, just say stop, and
will do.
And we'll jump in. Okay, here we go. The interview of Gage Grosskreutz on Good Morning America.
Now with an ABC News exclusive with Gage Grosskreutz, the sole survivor shot by Kyle Rittenhouse. After an explosive day in court with Rittenhouse breaking down on the stand, Grosskreutz joins us alongside his attorney, Kimberly Motley.
Do you have, let's see. Oh, you know what? That's because I don't need to share. I don't need to share the audio because it comes through my microphone. So give me a second. Let me fix that. I'm going to back this out. All right, we're gonna try this again. I forget that everything comes through my microphone, so I don't need to share that with you. So we're gonna take.
I also get an echo of myself too.
Right, because yeah, I know I'm going through, so it goes through twice. I forget that I have technology that doesn't necessarily have to do that. All right, this is. Okay, let's. Where is it? Stop screen. There we go. Now we'll do share screen without the mic sound. There we go. Back to full screen and back to Michael Strahan. Na. We're gonna start over, gang. Sorry, this is some technical shit that boomers like me sometimes screw up. So there you go. Good morning, Brent Hayes, by the way, and Johnny Hellcat, the original viewer of the Morning Night Live. Good to see you. All right, here we go again.
The ABC News exclusive with Gage Grosskreutz, the sole survivor shot by Kyle Rittenhouse. After an explosive
Sole survivor.
Yeah, no, it's just how over dramatically stupid is that? And I'm sure you've seen the montage of all the articles and news stories where that became like the phrase to refer to him as. Everybody had to call him the sole survivor.
Everybody. The only idiot who didn't killed when you attacked a kid with an AR-15. All right, sole survivor.
Day in court with Rittenhouse breaking down on the stand. Grosskreutz joins us alongside his attorney, Kimberly Motley, in his first interview since his dramatic testimony in the murder trial. Gage and Kimberly, thank you both so much for joining me this morning. And Gage, I want to start with you. You were shot in the arm by Kyle Rittenhouse during the protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year, while the other two men he shot that night died. With Rittenhouse taking the stand, what did you think of his testimony?
Well, I think anytime.
Why are you asking this idiot? Seriously, I mean, what possible? You know, it's just, and this has been commented on all over the place. The media is playing such softball with, I mean, whatever you think about Rittenhouse himself, okay, setting aside the trial itself, his testimony, Grosskreuz's testimony, contradicting himself, laying himself out as just a profiteer, lying on the stand, lying to the cops, having to admit that nothing happened until he pointed a gun at the kid's head. Even if you think Rittenhouse is guilty of everything else, Grosskreutz as an individual is so impeached in his character by his own hand. Why the media is choosing to deify this guy, as a lone survivor or sole survivor. I mean, sole survivor, as though there's like a religious connotation to that, as though he's somehow angelic or something, or was a miraculous situation. And now here he is like, what did you think about his testimony? Yeah, I really need legal analysis from this yo-yo. It's insane. It really is.
Can you see me? Oh, you can't see me, can you?
I can't see you. No, I see your cartoon.
Thank you for saying everything that I wanted to say, because I was gonna explode right there. Who gives a fuck what this guy thinks?
I can't wait until Gage Grosskreutz is like a special correspondent for Court TV after this,
or a CNN. Like CNN will hire him and the prosecutor for what I've said. I don't know. Okay, so you've got the guy who's a complainant witness. What does it matter what he thinks of Kyle's testimony? Yeah. I have questions for him that he has some splaining to do, but we're going to move on because we'll see if we get any questions that have anything to do with what he should be splaining. I've seen this already too, so I know it's coming. So I'm just going to let you see it for the first time, everybody.
Time you see your would-be murderer on the stand, it's emotional.
And
my would-be murderer. You mean the kid you tried to shoot in the head? Your would-be victim, you mean? Jeez.
Now, and I've gone over this more than once as I've been watching this, both Kyle and Grosskreutz, in theory, could come up with a self-defense argument.
Yes.
They both have that, but the idea that why is that the first question for Michael Strahan? First of all, again, who cares? What's he going to say? Well, in hindsight, after listening to Kyle, I think he was right. What is he going to say? He's a complainant he's a complainant in the process.
He's looking for $10 million out of the city for this. There's no way he's going to give you some kind of positive spin or some sort of like, oh shucks, maybe Joe. What is the value of interviewing this idiot? I don't understand, except that this is just an example. This is probably one of the most vulgar examples of just how far backwards the media is bending to try to turn this guy into a 100% victim and Rittenhouse into a 100% villain. I mean, like you say, you could, for a 30,000 foot level, you could make the argument that both Rittenhouse and Grosskreutz, in the situation that they were in, had a self-defense claim of some kind. They could be, on a moral basis, in the absence of any other information, on an even playing field for the most part. But when you know what the testimony is, you know what the facts are, and then you play up this guy as though he is innocent and pure, you're just showing how corrupt you are as quote-unquote journalists and how not fair and balanced you are, and just how skewed your ideology is to have to put this guy up and play softball with him. I mean, come on.
It's crazy. It is. Well, I'll give you my analogy at the end of this.
I'll stop cutting in.
No. That's why I stopped. I want to hear you cut in. This is fantastic. You're doing perfectly well. Thank you. All right, let's keep going here. Listen to how this goes, because Michael Strahan, I want to smack you in the head. Anyway,
it's emotional.
And what was your reaction to him breaking down and crying on the stand?
To me, it seemed like
again, who cares?
A child who had just gotten caught doing something that he wasn't supposed to. More upset that he was caught and less upset about what he had done and what he had taken and the numerous lives that he affected through his actions that night.
Okay, so really, because you have to think about where in the questioning that he broke down. Did he break down about being arrested? No. Did he break down about helping people in the, the guy who hurt his shoulder, seeing if he was okay? No. Did he break down? He broke down when the most traumatic part of this event, that he actually had to kill somebody. That's when he broke down. It was,
Well, the thing, and okay, as preamble, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, etc. But
but LeBron James is.
Well, yeah, LeBron James does everything. Obviously, he knows he knows when to put a target on a cop's back for defending somebody's life. LeBron James is perfect. No, but when I was watching the testimony, okay, now again, I'm not a psychologist, but I do own a couch, and I have watched countless interrogation footage of people who are either lying through their teeth and crying crocodile tears, or people who are genuinely in distress. Now, I can't read Kyle Rittenhouse's mind, but his reaction on the stand when having to recall shooting somebody, it's very difficult to fake hyperventilation. It's very difficult to fake that kind of absolute loss of control. That's not somebody who's like forcing that out. That's their body being outside of their control. I've seen that in real life. I've seen that in recordings. If he's faking it, if it's an act, he deserves an Oscar. So elsewise, for this guy who shed a single tear on the stand when he was thinking about his life being under threat and all this other stuff,
right.
Very good on him. To have absolutely, I can have empathy for somebody I don't agree with who has done something terrible.
Yes.
Even if I don't agree with why they did it or anything else, if they've done something terrible, I've seen, and I'm sure many of us have, we have seen actual people who have murdered other people have to testify about it and lose control because the reality of what they did, even if they did it in malice, has fallen upon them, and they've shown genuine reaction and emotion. Now, whether or not you have sympathy for them for that or not, that's one thing. But to have an absolute lack of human sympathy for someone who's having to recall the worst possible moment in their lives. I think about this sometimes when somebody says this is the worst day of my life and they're being honest, and then you'd actually compare circumstances like the worst day of someone's life when they're rich versus the worst day of someone's life when they're poor or something like that. And at the same time, it's like, okay, well, compared to my situation, your worst day's not that bad. But if it's their worst day, even if by relation you can say it's not that bad as some of the others, you can at least have the sympathy that someone is going through something ridiculously traumatic. And for him to say it was just a little boy upset that he got caught. He's been caught for a year.
Right.
He wasn't talking when he was arrested or anything else. He turned himself in. At the moment he has to recall shooting a person to death, he breaks down, and this idiot is like, he's just a little kid. This guy is such, again, I'm not a psychologist, but this guy is deserving of nothing from anybody that he's getting right now. This kind of sympathy, this kind of deification, this kind of soft, it's nuts. Absolutely nuts.
And the problem I have with the news here too, again, like you said, why, knowing what his testimony was, and maybe Michael Strahan doesn't. Maybe Michael Strahan just only heard news reports and barely listened to it.
Sure.
But knowing what his testimony was, why would you even think of making him an expert? But guess what? People watching this interview on Good Morning America, they haven't watched any of the trial. They're relying on this to know what happened. And this is a complaint. I'm surprised, though, that this is even allowed.
Well, yeah, speaking of just as a side, the lack of sort of media saturation with some people and where they're getting their information. This is anecdotal, but I maybe, I don't know if you tweeted this out or somebody else did, but there was a tweet I saw today from a lady on Twitter, if you can believe it. And she said, up until this point, I didn't know the people Rittenhouse shot were white. I thought this case was a completely different thing, and now I've had my whole perspective change. And she goes on to talk about, and as far as I can tell, and I don't know, but as far as I can tell, she's being sincere. That she was living in this bubble of only being fed information filtered through the media and everybody else, and that all of a sudden she started paying attention to the actual details and was just had her mind blown.
Right.
And I have to assume that if this one lady is being genuine about that she is at least representative of some percentage of the population that is only getting their information by the bits and pieces that the media is allowing them to see and hear.
Well, and also the gigantic game of telephone that's going on Twitter right now.
Sure.
Because people are hearing it. I commented to someone this morning. I said, "You're REO speedwagging this right now." Heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from another. Because people, I'm starting to get people saying he took his AR-15. His mother drove him across 2 state lines with an AR-15. If you say something like that, that immediately proves that you haven't watched any of the trial. Right. You have no idea what you're talking about, because none of those 3 things are true.
Yep.
Other than that there was an AR-15, but it didn't go across any state lines. And the idea that you don't know. Okay, so does he travel across 2 state lines every day to go to work? Does he travel across 2 state lines to see his dad or his friend or his sister's boyfriend or whatever that he became friends with? It's crazy, some of the things that people say, where I go, you have no fucking idea what you're talking about at all. Mm-hmm. All I can say is that, but someone tweets that, and then 15 other people are down there replying, "Yeah, man, I can't believe this." With that, before somebody even corrects them. And it's with the lady that thought that everyone was black, if you go through her replies, there are a lot of people who go, "Yeah, no, I feel kind of embarrassed that I thought that." She's not the only one. There's hundreds of replies on that tweet where other people like that too. "Oh, I didn't either. I had no idea. Oh, I had no idea." All right, let's go back to Gage here. By the way, good morning to who did I just see? Zach to the Future, and Tyler F. and Colleen Bernier. Nice to see you again. Okay, here we go. Oh, let me put this back on the screen. Did I take this off the screen on my end? I did never put it back on. Here we go. This smarmy prick.
And Kimberly, as Gage's lawyer, what is your take on what we've seen and heard in the courtroom so far?
Well, I think that
now, it's fine to ask her that, but my question would be, why did you allow your defendant to go on that stand and incriminate himself over and over and over? But let me hear her answer. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt everything.
It should be recognized that Mr. Rittenhouse was an active shooter, and that it's important that, I believe, as Gage has said, that some of his testimony was extremely inconsistent. He was not, I believe,
some of his testimony.
So the whole active shooter thing, and I haven't listened to if somebody else has already made this observation, I'm sure they have, but the constant refrain of trying to refer to Rittenhouse as an active shooter, to me, seems on the reverse end, trying to make Grosskreutz into some kind of would-be hero that he was stopping a terroristic threat kind of thing. Is that the general consensus on that? Why the active shooter thing is being used?
That is exactly why it's being used. They're trying to make it out like that he's a hero, that to stop. Because if you think about it, well, yes, 2 people were shot before he was, and another person was shot at. And also as far as what he thought. But here's my guess of what was going through his mind is, I'm going to go kill that motherfucker because, he killed somebody. Mm-hmm. I doubt if he was really, I don't think he was throwing out a cape and being Batman at the time. I think he just, he just had his gun out and he was ready to go kill the guy. But again, he still would have somewhat of a self-defense defense if he were charged with something and shooting Kyle, because you know, that's what you could say. You could say, well, you know, I thought I was an active shooter. I was just trying to stop him from hurting anybody else, which it's a valid argument, but in the sense of all the other things he lied about, it really takes away his credibility. So here, let me go here. See what she finishes with here.
In imminent fear of danger for his own life, Gage acted and you know, he was not threatening Mr. Rittenhouse.
So he was in imminent fear of his own life. So he chased after the guy with the rifle, and he wasn't threatening Mr. Rittenhouse, who didn't shoot when he has his hands up. But when you pointed the pistol at him, you weren't threatening Mr. Rittenhouse, but it was you had a gun in your hand with a higher caliber bullet than the AR-15 that Mr. Rittenhouse was pointing at you. Oh wait, I forgot. Yeah. AR-15s are big, scary black rifles.
I can imagine a scenario where if Grosskreutz had been honest with the cops and everybody after the fact, I could see an argument made where fog of war. He saw this guy. He'd seen him shoot two people. He didn't have any context, and he was trying to stop him. I could see a situation where you've got two people doing what in their minds and for all honest purposes are maybe not benevolent, but actions in defense. I could see that scenario. The problem is Grosskreutz has completely impeached himself with his own testimony. So why that's not being now, if I remember, I haven't seen this interview, but I'm assuming they never bring up his lying, his contradictions, the conflict of interest, them seeking $10 million from the city and everything. I'm assuming they never bring that up here. But yeah, so but he didn't do any of those things. So like I say, if someone wants to just take the media's filtration of this, you could say, oh well, you know, maybe both of them were doing what they thought was right at the time, and for honest confusion. But that's not what we find out because he was lying about it all the time.
Correct. Okay, let's keep going now.
Mr. Rittenhouse re-wrapped his gun with Gage, and I think that's really.
Out of curiosity, did you see anywhere where he re-racked his gun? I'm still trying to figure out where that is.
I haven't seen all the video. I couldn't tell you.
Oh, I have. It's very distinct, and he doesn't. You know, he doesn't. They don't have any evidence that. And I think that's going to be one of the things too that's going to be in the closing. They're going to show the video, and ask the jury, "Did you see him re-rack?" Because yesterday they had one of the police experts or one of the cops, the little the fine individual officer who. Many people were drooling over. Anyway, they were demonstrating how you re-rack a gun, and yeah, he didn't do that. Anyway,
really important that people need to pay attention to the inconsistent statements from the active shooter or the defendant, Rittenhouse.
And Gage, you testified, and you were injured, but you testified you thought you were going to die that night. Talk to me about what was going through your mind in those moments.
I mean, there's a million things that run through your mind when somebody's pointing a rifle at you after just having murdered somebody. First and foremost, I was concerned for my safety. I never lost sight of who I am.
Imagine if you're not paying attention to the trial, but this is the interview you get too. So far, right? Because we don't know anything about this guy other than he's the lone survivor.
Sole survivor.
I'm not somebody who takes a life. I've made a life out of protecting and preserving life,
yes, I
not
have.
taking it.
Wait.
Oh,
okay, so yeah, he has that EMT license that hasn't been active since 2017. By the way.
Jesus.
But I've made a life of protecting and preserving. I'm part of a basically communist burn the whole world down group But I've had a life of preserving and whatever life. I go to riots on a regular basis. And I live farther from Kenosha than Kyle Rittenhouse.
You know, I've been a lifelong advocate for martial arts because I took 6 months of karate in 7th grade.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, that's all I need to do.
Hey, Scribe.
Yes.
Don't hurt me.
Speaking of protection, you said that you carried a gun for protection that night, and that you pointed it at Kyle Rittenhouse. Why did you point your gun at him?
I'm all for the Second Amendment, American citizens' right to bear arms.
Wait, whoa. You pointed at him because you're for the Second Amendment? Is that your, let's see if you have a better, please elaborate on that.
And I think that during cross-examination, it's hard to say what you want to say. I do believe that in that photo, given the right narrative, one could suggest that, yes, I was pointing my weapon at the defendant. But when you play it as a movie, or look at different stills, my arm was being vaporized as I was allegedly pointing my weapon at the defendant. It's completely inconsistent with the physiology of my wound that he would have shot me while my weapon was pointed at his head.
So here you're allowed to say whatever you feel like you need to say.
Wait.
So you're saying that you actually didn't, you weren't
stop.
Wait,
it's hard to stop because it's a delay and stop. Would you
That's
stop?
absolutely what I'm saying, yes.
Hang on.
Engage. What do you want people to know about this case and what happened that night that they may not already know or think that they know?
I think the most important thing to remember is that Kyle Rittenhouse was an active shooter.
Okay. I want to go back to Strand's follow-up
question.
Your space
bar.
Well, I can't. It's because this computer's running slow because of the I've got so many things running at the same time. Hang on. I want to go back to right about there, I think. Maybe it's this question. This question's okay. We'll go back. We'll just listen to this again.
To who I am. I'm not somebody who takes life. I've made a life out of protecting and preserving.
Now listen.
Speaking of protection, you said that you carried a gun for protection that night, and that you pointed it at Kyle Rittenhouse. Why did you point your gun at him?
I'm all for the Second Amendment.
Listen to the next question right after this.
And I think that during cross-examination, it's hard to say what you want to say. I do believe that in that photo, given the right narrative, one could suggest that, yes, I was pointing my weapon at the defendant.
This is funny.
But when you play it as a movie or look at different stills, my arm was being vaporized as I was allegedly pointing my weapon at the defendant. It's completely inconsistent with the physiology of my wound that he would have shot me while my weapon was pointed at his head.
So here you're allowed to say whatever you feel like you need to say. So you're saying that you actually you weren't pointing your gun at him. Is that what you're saying?
That's absolutely what I'm saying, yes.
Engage. What do you want people to know about this case and what happened that night that they may not already know or think that they know?
I think the most important thing to remember is that Kyle Rittenhouse was an active shooter. He murdered 2 men, and he attempted to murder me.
Gage, Kimberly, thank you both so much for joining me this morning. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, wow is
that gun, so
nice, edited, clean, sanitized.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel.
That it's
Lots
Robin
of
Roberts
great
right there.
stuff here. So
Shut
go
up,
on,
Robin
click the
Roberts.
subscribe button right over here to get
everything's
more
going slow
of
here. Hang
awesome
on.
videos and content from
trying to
GMA
remove
every day, anytime.
Okay, sorry.
Close the
Thanks for
window.
watching,
Close the window.
and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.
The page is unresponsive. That's the problem. Okay, we're gonna just and I'm gonna move StreamYards where I can actually manage it here. Okay, so now a couple things. How reminiscent is that
Survivor shot by Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh my God!
After an explosive day in court with Rittenhouse breaking down on the stand, Gross Croyce joins us alongside his attorney, Kimberly.
Close the windows. I wanted to play that too, but I'm not going to. How reminiscent of the how much does that remind you of Robin Roberts' Jesse Smollett interview? Same kind of thing, where they they're so sympathetic to the person they're talking to that they don't ask them the obvious damn questions.
Yeah, I mean it's. I mean, it's first off, you just watching it, you can tell it's obviously edited. It's just a winnowed down, sanitized, whatever it is. But yeah, this is a news report for people who haven't watched the trial, don't know anything, and I am just, I know I shouldn't be surprised, right? But I am continually baffled, and I said this before, by the lengths that are being gone to try to make this into something black and white, that it is. Rittenhouse is bad, and everybody he shot is an innocent victim.
He shouldn't have been there.
Has to be. It's yeah. There's no. What's the word I'm looking for? I mean, there's no presumption of innocence. I mean, we talked about this many times since the Supreme Court justice whose name I suddenly forget, Kavanaugh. So the Brett Kavanaugh thing, the whole media, and of course it's not a new thing where the media convicts somebody before they get put on trial or have the evidence shown to them. What is the need to slot everything into this one narrative so rabidly? I mean, what is at risk for the media or anybody involved in the analysis of this in trying to be not taking a side, but just being pragmatic about it? But there's not any pragmatism here. It is one side is good, one side is bad. I don't understand what is at risk for the media or any journalist that is in the mainstream in just, you know, calling balls and strikes, as it were, and not taking any emotion into it or taking a side. I don't understand what they're so scared of.
Because just like Binger admitted yesterday, this is an allegory for the current political climate in our country. You have to be on one side or the other. And because Kyle Rittenhouse was at a protest that is on the wrong side, on the wrong, so-called the wrong side of a protest, which is also interesting because there were protesters there that were being aided by them. And then some were just like, you know, you shouldn't talk to those people, whatever. But, and because, you know, they had the Proud Boy moment after Kyle got out, when he was supposedly drinking beer in a bar with the Proud Boys, which whatever, the Proud
unrelated,
Boys
has nothing to
useless.
Do with anything,
right? But it's become that thing, and the fact that woman who tweeted about just finding out during the trial that the three people were, you know, that the three people that were shot were white people. She didn't know that. It's been made in, you know, again, it's supposed to be, you know, it's been turned into this political thing. And Bringer admitted it yesterday in the courtroom, basically.
Well, I know. I mean, so I understand that from like the abstract, but I'm talking about like the individual journalists, the individual people that are doing this, that are just towing the line. I mean, is it? It's got to be fear of losing your job, of losing clout, of somehow not being part of the club, or I guess maybe you're a true believer and just think that there's only one way or the highway.
They see what they want to see.
Yeah.
They report what they want to report. They are part of. They have put. Look, you've seen the entire CNN staff put themselves on a team.
Yeah,
they're on it. They're all on the same team now. They're all on that team. They're on that because also Kyle Rittenhouse also represents the Trumpers to them, also represents the anti-vaxxers to them, also represents and I'm gonna guess that Kyle Rittenhouse is vaccinated. But anyway, by the way, Canada Hotel, I do see you waiting in the green room here.
Yeah,
too.
Real quick, I'll split. I got to go back to do work and stuff. And thanks for having me on. But I did have one question for you, sort related but not direct.
Okay.
Do you think, because I was surprised, do you think it was a good idea to put Kyle Rittenhouse on the stand? Because when it started, before I heard any testimony, I kept trying to ask myself, of what value is it to the defense to put him up there when the prosecution has done such a terrible job? Do you think they were right to put him on the stand?
No, they already won the case. And you know what I think? You know what I would think would have been the boldest damn move they could have made as far as this trial goes?
Not present a defense at all, just rest their case right there.
When the prosecution rests, the defense should have said the defense rests, because everything they needed to prove this was self-defense was already done by the prosecution. So that would have been like, we're talking Sasquatch balls move.
Well, the biggest burn would have been is if they rested after the prosecution did, and then during the closing, the defense played clips of Binger's performance as evidence in their favor.
Right.
That would probably be the most dramatic burn. Anyway, Dawg, thanks for having me on. I got to get back to real life stuff and all that, but hope everybody has a good Friday and a good weekend. And hope you have a fun day.
All right, man. Thank you, Scribe. Nice to have you on, bud.
Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Later. Real quick, good morning to Keeverdam. How you doing? Nice to see you. And also, I saw what else I see in there? HB Lovecraft's in the house. And who was it? Somebody that I didn't see before. Well, I'll figure it out. At some point. Maybe Lord Stanhope, you're here too. All right, and check your logic. Good morning. All right, let's bring on our friend Candid Hotep, a friend of the show. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Let's try this again. There we go. Good morning, sir.
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
What's happening, my friend?
Nothing much, man. I've been following this case too, man. It's crazy. I swear, I was recapping on it like 2 days ago, and I forgot the prosecution was the prosecution.
Oh, I know.
I was like, man, they're really making a case for him. But that's the thing, and I was trying to explain to some family members. I'm like, look, no one disputes that he shot those 3 guys.
True.
No one disputes that happened. Like I said in my video yesterday, I agree he shouldn't have been there, but neither should they. They shouldn't have been there either. But they was there, some things happened, and this is where we at. But you can't deny self-defense. Even when it first came out back, was it May when we found out about this?
Mm-hmm.
Even when you saw the initial footage, it was clear as day. Oh, well, he's retreating the entire time.
Yep.
And then the footage came out. I remember Colio Noir had a video that came out where he just had some random footage of what was happening in Kenosha over the weekend. I think it popped it on that Monday. You see the footage of Kyle running with the fire extinguisher to put the fire out. And it's like, this kid was up there trying to help. You had the McGinnis interview that came out, basically him explaining that he was there trying to give aid. You had the pictures of him scrubbing graffiti. There's some stand-up stuff.
Right.
And you had some haters out there that he literally went to go put out a dumpster fire or a fire in that truck. And you had people upset that, and they wanted to attack him. You had him running away, which, like I told people, I said, what sense does it make if you got an AR in your hand and you're retreating? I said, if he really wanted to do harm, why is he running away?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, explain that to me. He's running, he's cornered, guy goes for his weapon. I'd have popped his ass too.
Well, yeah, the thing, about him running too.
And I'm like,
oh no, just the thing about him running too. You don't have in Wisconsin too. You don't even have a requirement to retreat, and he was retreating. How do you, if someone's chasing you and you have a weapon in your hand that you've already presented to them once, and it didn't slow them down, and then you run again? He's because the prosecution wants to make a big deal about this little picture that's supposedly the FBI that he pointed his gun at somebody. Okay, when did he point that gun at somebody? Because he's saying that he provoked it, and that picture is nonsense anyway. Yeah. But even if he did, he retreated twice before he shot somebody. He retreated, he stopped, he turned, the guy kept, showed him the gun, the guy kept running him, he ran again, went in between the cars and got kind of caught in there, and that's when he turned around and the guy's on him. Of course you're going to shoot him.
And then while he's running, 2 shots get let off while he running away. So in my mind, if that was me, I'm being shot at by this dude or something. You know what I mean? So it's hard to, you know, sit here and try to say he was the aggressor. He was never the aggressor, not once in that whole entire ordeal. You know what I mean? And then after he shot the guy, you know, he McGinnis, I think it was, because I remember him being on Tim Pool's thing. He said he was pissed. He slammed his helmet down, took his shirt off, tried to help, like, put pressure on the wound, but it was just too late.
Right.
You know, then you know, before he could do anything, he's on the run again. Again, like I said, if you got the monopoly on power, why are you running? I said, because he didn't want to hurt anybody. Then when you got Grosquist on the stand, which I don't understand, like that clip you showed on Good Morning America just shows you how propaganda works. You say something enough time, people are bound to believe it. He's on the stand. He said that he was running alongside him at a point, and he said, dude, you just shot someone? He said, I'm running to the police. I didn't do anything wrong. Then he turns around to run away to go to, he says, towards the where the shooting happened. But then for some reason turns around and goes back with his gun. Like, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so if he said that, why didn't you turn around and try to de-escalate that? Like, well, you know what I mean? Or like, yo, he's going to the police. He's going to the police, you know, or whatever. No, you joined in on it. 2, the whole re-racking thing. When the minute I heard that, I said, that's BS. He didn't re-rack that gun. I said, you can see it clear as day. He drew the gun on him. He put his hands up because he was scared, and he tried to wait him out. When he put the low ready, he waited for a second and then tried to do some Billy the Kid shit, and he got his arm blown off. That's what happened.
Right.
It was never a re-rack. And the thing, and you know it's not a re-rack because if I gun had said click and he brought that gun down to re-rack, I'd have been on his ass in a heartbeat with that Glock 20.
Right. You're much faster with a Glock. Oh, we're losing you there. Just to notice also, I see Keever Dam in the chat.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. I was just going to say, Keever Dam in the chat was talking about the Amazing Lucas thought Kai was in the wrong. And it was interesting because I went on the Amazing Lucas 2 nights ago and got into this with him. And, you know, I was on his whole panel. His whole panel shot me down until Nate the lawyer joined the group. And Nate the lawyer explained the legalities of it. By the end of that, everyone on the panel was agreeing with Nate, who everything Nate said, I had just told them. So, but then I get on there. But I get on there again last night, and they're all still, there's a few people still saying, oh, well, he should have never been there. He should have never been there. You know what? Nobody should have been there. You know, it wasn't none of his business. It wasn't any Grosskreutz business. It wasn't any of the guy with the skateboards business. It wasn't any of Rosenbaum's business. It was none of their business. None of them should have been there. And the only reason Rosenbaum was there is because he couldn't stay at his girlfriend's house because he had a restraining order against him.
Exactly. And the crazy part is, like I said in the video I did yesterday, I'm like, it doesn't forfeit his right to self-defense.
Exactly. By the way, speaking of the video you did yesterday, that video will be in the tab today in the one tab link, any articles or anything that I pulled up. I have included Canon Hotep's video about the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, short 5-minute video. Please watch that when you get a chance. Check out the links after the show. Yeah, but no, and again, as usual, you had a very short, succinct, simple explanation of the case, and you're 100% right.
And the crazy part is, as short as my video was, that's how short this case should be. As simple as that. I mean, I don't even understand how this is really a thing. Like I said, they needed a boogie monster, you know, because, you know, not to change the subject or anything. While this is going on, we find out all this stuff about the 2016 debacle, and all of these, you know, all these people that's being indicted for some effery that went on with that. You know, nobody's talking about right now. They're talking about this. We ain't even heard about the Ahmaud Arbery, the McMichaels case.
Well,
you know,
and Nate's the only one covering that one that I've seen, at least as far as people that I usually follow. So I've been getting some snippets here and there. The McMichaels have a big problem. McMichaels have a huge problem because in Georgia where this happened, and this is probably the law in a lot of states. So they say they were attempting to make a citizen's arrest, but the problem is the law in Georgia is you have to actually witness a crime to make a citizen's arrest. You can't
you got to catch them in the act.
Right. And in the very first part of the trial, they said, no, they didn't see an actual crime. They just saw him running down the street. So no matter what goes on in that case beyond that, I think they're toast.
Right. And that's the thing, right? So like with that one, you know, that should have been open and shut case. Like, you know, at that point when he's running, you're the aggressor at that point. Just like with Groskowitz, you were the aggressor at that point. The minute you pulled your gun and ran toward him, you're now an aggressor. Simple as that. And I would argue that he's trying to make a case for self-defense for himself because, for one, he wasn't supposed to have that gun there.
Okay, now I just got something. Hang on a second. I got something in the chat here. Jada Clay just put in the chat, judge just stated that if the jury finds the defendant guilty of lesser charge of murder, it would be reversed. I've been watching this after my show every day on 1.5 times speed so I can get caught up. So I'll have to, we'll probably talk about that on Monday, but that's interesting. And you know what? Oh, what do you think of all this mess they were talking about the judge?
I like the judge. Honestly, they don't like the judge because the judge is being impartial. The judge isn't, you know, and he's being fair about it. He's not letting them railroad the kid. You know, like when he tried to entrap him with the whole, why you wait till, you know, now after you heard everybody else talking to, you know, plead your case. When he got the right to remain silent, he can plead the fifth. He can talk whenever he wants. Now you know, but you know, you're doing that, and then you're doing this in front of the jury. And I brought this up to a friend of mine. I said, you notice that, you know, they say things and then they dismiss the jury and then they get creative. But you know, and the jury's not supposed to deliberate on those things when they say strike it from the record, but it's in their mind. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, and that's the issue for me. I'm like, okay, but it's like somebody being on trial for, I don't know, grape. and they get off, but what are they known for the rest of their life? You know, because it's the initial allegation. It's the same thing I feel like with the jury. It's like, all right, guys, strike it from the record. You don't use this to make a decision, but it's like, all right, we already heard it.
You heard it, yeah. No, and that was the other part, because it was not only the, why didn't you speak up till now? He has a Fifth Amendment right for that, and that was the thing that pissed off the judge the most. And then he started playing around with some of that other stuff.
There should have been a mistrial at that point.
Yeah. Well,
the jury's the jury's compromised, I feel.
But the thing is, they also, you know, the judge has to play careful with this because of all the shit that they're saying in the public. You know, he throws a mistrial because it should have been a mistrial with prejudice. They should have been able to drop this. Well, first of all, when you said this should have been the trial should have been as long as your video, no, it should have been way shorter than your video, as in it should have never been brought about. They knew they had the terrible evidence. So, and
I guarantee from Jump Street, when the prosecution did their opening arguments, it was clear as day. Like when the prosecution because I didn't know who his lawyers was and nothing like that. I came in late on it. I'm hearing them talk and I'm thinking it was the defense, and I'm sitting there agreeing like, yeah. And the crazy part is as crazy and as dumb as the prosecution sounds. Apparently he's the assistant DA. Don't know why they got the B team on it. But the thing about it is that. The problem is ideology. Nobody disputes that he shot those people. Nobody disputes that he was there that night. Nobody disputes that he had an AR-15, which I don't understand why that even matters. But that's just here nor there. The problem is the ideology. It's why was he there? He shouldn't have been there. He was underage. Why did he have that long gun? And it's like, it doesn't matter. When it comes down to it, none of that matters. What matters is was he in the right, or was he justified for self-defense? And the video shows he was justified for self-defense. Real quick before I go, I got a buddy, you know, I call him an uncle. And I you know, he looked after me when I grew up and stuff like that, made sure, you know, nobody messed with me, stuff like that. So he was a felon. He had a felony. His brother did something stupid and got in a fight with some guy's teenage son. The guy comes to the house. The guy tries to kick the door in. Now, my buddy has a gun, and the guy kicks the door in. The guy has a gun of his own. My buddy got the drop on him, hit him, and then ran because he's a felon. So eventually he got arrested, and he was facing, I think this would have been his third strike if he would have got convicted. He went to jail. So fast forward like a year or so, I see him. We ended up going to the same like tech school, and I'm like, man, I said, what happened? How you beat the case? He said, he said, I got a gun charge. I did a year for that, and waiting for my case. And they said it was time served. They said the rest of it was because I was defending my fight. I was defending my household. Mm-hmm. That's why they didn't give me my life. And that's the thing. Whether Kyle was 17 or he wasn't supposed to have that gun, it still doesn't forfeit his right to self-defense and to defend his life by any means necessary.
Well, yeah, no, the scenario that someone made up on the internet was if a 17-year-old girl had a pistol in her purse and she was in a club illegally, and she goes in the bathroom and someone tries to violate her in that bathroom and she shoots them, it doesn't take away her right to self-defense. It doesn't. It doesn't take away. If that part of the charge is completely separate from whether or not you can say it's self-defense. Good morning, Rich. Oh, I see you in the chat. How you doing, man? Anyway, so
I got just like the last gentleman, I gotta go do some big boy stuff. So it was nice talking to y'all, and y'all have a wonderful one. I'm gonna listen while I'm doing some work.
Titties, man.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Canon Hotep, for joining us today. And if you, let's see, what time is it? Oh, I'm out of time anyway. We'll tell you what. Here's how we're going to finish today. Rather than, and let me close this window because it messes up my computer. There we go. We're not gonna take any more calls today. But I do want to. I just want to pop on Twitter and. Oh wait, let me unpin this real quick. There we go. Ethan Ralph's been streaming this too. Oh, goodness gracious. I've been sticking with Ricada Law just because it's a bunch of lawyers who know what they're talking about from the legal standpoint. Oh my God, I got notifications going crazy here. What's here now? Oh, they're still arguing on my Twitter feed. Oh man. Anyway, someone come back at me. Come back at me. Oh, okay. This is actually someone who follows me or something. Anyway, he wasn't coming back at me. The last one, let's see, the other one I wanted to go through. I was going to show you the report on ABC News, but F them. And but this one, Don Lemon, everyone's favorite CNN broadcaster, Don Lemon, had a hot take. Did I keep it up here? Oh no, I shut that. Okay, never mind. Well, here we got 3 minutes of Don Lemon and somebody else on CNN. We'll watch this, and then we're gonna get the hell out of Dodge. So here we go. Here's everyone's favorite ball fondler, and I mean his own, Don fucking Lemon.
You've got some pretty strong emotions about what you're seeing.
Well, I think people think it's normal. I listen to our political pundits and political pundits on all channels, and they seem to, I guess they're used to giving deference to a judge.
The judge's behavior.
The judge's behavior, and most people are not in courtrooms every day like that. And if that is the behavior that is happening in courtrooms every day, Houston, we have a problem.
Why? Because your prosecutors are in trouble for prosecutorial misconduct, and a judge should just not find that annoying as fuck, Don?
Sure, we have a problem. America, we have a problem. And I think people are afraid to, especially, I have people on on my show.
Oh, on your show. Because the people on your show are always so, have such different opinions than you.
Still actively pursuing cases that are, are fighting, or cases that are in front of that judge, and maybe they don't want to say anything about it. But his behavior is, at the very least, unusual and concerning.
You know, you grabbing your nuts and putting your finger in someone's nose is unusual, and it's concerning.
Because we talk a lot about civility, and you look at the segment that you had
civility, Don Lemon, civility. Okay.
Had before with the former president, seeming to say it's okay for people to, you know, want to hang the vice president, that sort of behavior,
really? Is
and
that what
has
said?
happened to us in society.
I'm curious
now.
What interview
this
he's
judge
talking
yelling
about.
At a prosecutor or anyone in the courtroom or treating anyone the way that he treats, I think it's problematic.
Really? Because someone violating someone's constitutional rights, yeah, you know, would you guys, here's what he should have done. Would you stop that? That's not nice. That's his constitutional rights. Instead of someone who's been in front of this judge before and probably done some shady shit in that too. And it's weird. You know what's weird? And I think Scribe brought this up. Just the idea that this guy's just trying to get a win. He doesn't really care about justice. The prosecutors, I don't think they care about justice. They're just trying to get a win at all costs. It's just weird.
And I don't think it's normal. And people, you can decide or not if you think he's biased. Most of the people I've seen on television who does some analysis of courtrooms, seems to think that there is a bias towards the.
Most of the people I know, I don't know anyone who doesn't vote for Democrats. But I don't have any bias. God damn.
Defense. Usually this judge is very pro-prosecution, and now he's sort of seems to be very pro-defense, treating Kyle Rittenhouse as if he's his grandson.
Really, Don? And here again, we're on CNN, and just, you know, the last interview on ABC. Oh, that's right. Racine is closer to Kenosha. I forgot about that. Yes, it is. Okay, I am stand corrected, Keeverdam. You are correct. By the way, thank you, Keeverdam, for being a sponsor of the show, my only sponsor of the show today. And you don't know how much that means to me. Thank you, my friend. And that's right. Racine is right near Kenosha. Oh, you live in Racine. I gotcha. Okay, you're right. And Antioch. Well, is it? Are they closer? Yeah, I guess they are. They're right next to each other, and then Kenosha's or Antioch's a little bit to the west and slightly south, across state lines. Anyway, hello, Hig. How you doing? I know the horn on your rig probably doesn't sound like that, but still, it's fun to hit that horn. So there you go. Okay. Yeah, all my friends are I don't know anyone who voted for Donald Trump. I can't believe it.
Just berating the prosecution. No one needs to be berated like that in a courtroom.
Oh. Whatever, Don.
Saying that judges, attorneys, prosecutors, they have very tough jobs.
No, they do.
But does that need to happen? Does he need to make jokes about Asian food not arriving, because it's on a boat on Long Beach in California?
Well, normally it's not if you're trying to lighten up the jury a little bit, give them some little levity, and it's a joke about the fucking supply chain, well, there you go.
Whether he was being, racist towards Asians or insensitive or...
How is that racist? Don Lemon. I'm sorry. I hope you weren't wearing headphones. Usually, and I do have a compressor, so it doesn't let it hurt your ears too much, but by God.
Or not, he said in one breath that it shouldn't be political and wouldn't allow a question about a witness's bias because the witness works for a far right-wing publication.
Far right-wing publication!
But that it shouldn't be about politics, but then he's making jokes about the supply chain. It does not compute. I think people...
Wow, Don. I wonder if anyone else in the planet that's not on the right has made a joke or commented on the supply chain issues that we're might be having in this country that could cause some big problems. Of course, yes, because only people who talk about the supply chain or would make a joke about the supply chain are right-wing nut jobs. Judge was reloaded because the bullets were full metal jacket and that one bullet skimmed off the head of Rosenbaum, that the reckless endangerment charge is admissible. Well, the reckless endangerment charge, we already knew that was admissible. By the way, what they're doing today is they're going through jury instructions, and that charge they can have, but whether or not, they have to prove that Kyle, first of all, knew that that person was around the way because they're only pointing that at McGinnis, and that's the weird thing. But I think if the jury finds him not guilty because of self-defense. Oh, by the way, a perfect self-defense charge can also negate the reckless. So, in a way. So anyway, but I understand if he was being reckless and he just started shooting people. Of course, here's the funny thing about that. There's no evidence that his shooting was reckless. He had amazing trigger discipline. He didn't shoot the guy who shot the fire in the air. He didn't shoot the guy who came up after. He didn't shoot anybody else but people who attacked him. And he did not shoot them until they were a threat. This is for a new lesser charge submitted by motion for the prosecution. Oh, good God. Okay, I'll be watching that today. Let's finish with Don Lemon. I got to get out of here.
People see what is
it's
happening. So this is the perfect case. This one and the one that's happening in Georgia. These are perfect cases to bring light to what happens in our criminal justice system.
No, it's not.
In the court system. Because most of these people, they think it's normal. I've been dressed down by a judge before. I've been whatever. Well, maybe it shouldn't be that way. Maybe this is evidence.
If you do some shady shit as a prosecutor or a defense attorney in a courtroom, I would hope the judge makes you an example. Okay? What are you talking about? If the defense was doing shady shit and the judge dressed them down, Don Lemon, would you give a single shit about that happening? I doubt it. Shut the fuck up.
That we need to reform our court system and our criminal justice system. I just want to leave people with a picture here.
Are you going?
Imagine if Kyle Rittenhouse was an 18 or 17-year-old black kid.
Well, that's a different issue.
Completely different issue.
Right. How would people feel?
What would be different, Don? Would he not have the right to self-defense? I would be arguing for that same kid the same way I'm arguing for Kyle Rittenhouse. But you would be, what would you be doing right now, Don? That's my question. If he were, and I should probably let him finish his sentence, but if he was an 18-year-old black kid, what would you be doing right now, Don? I'm curious, too.
How would the judge treat him? Well, how would pundits think about this?
Why are you coming up with a hypothetical like that? If it were the exact same fact pattern, Don, God damn, I hate that shit.
This case. Or what about the people on the right who are making Kyle Rittenhouse out to be a choir boy because he went across state lines, inserted himself into a situation?
This whole going across state lines bullshit. Again, if you've been watching the trial, Don, you would know that Kyle has pretty significant ties to the town that's 11 miles away or 12 miles away, wherever he lives. Kyle Rittenhouse himself lives 11 miles from where he ended up. And his father lives in that town. And he works in that town. And his best friend lives in that town. And so what the fuck with this? Everyone loves to say this stupid crossing state line bullshit. Come on. That's the dumbest fucking argument. Especially if you've been paying attention, Don Lemon. Good God, stop saying that. That's nonsense. And that's why all these people on Twitter, he crossed 2 state lines with his mother drove across 2 state lines with an AR-15. Why aren't there federal charges? Because he didn't take a gun across state lines, and his mother didn't drive him. He drove illegally because he doesn't have a license for whatever that reason is. But he drove himself across state lines.
Situation where
Oh, by the way, good point, Brett Hayes. How is there no law against this kind of flagrant slander BS? Well, there is. But unfortunately, Kyle's 18 now, so it's a little bit harder. But anyway. It's a little tougher when there's actually a trial. Like with Nixon. Remember, CNN has already paid out on a law of this kind of flagrant slander BS. In fact, he's CNN's highest paid employee, Nick Salmon.
He had nothing to do with, was carrying a gun that he wasn't supposed to carry because he was too young. It was illegal for him to carry
irrelevant
that gun.
as
he
far
wanted
as
to,
self-defense.
He wanted to do it because he was cool. If a black kid did that, killed 2 people and injured another person.
If it was the exact same fact pattern, I would pray that it'd be the exact same defense. And it doesn't matter. If someone's coming at you, sorry. Hello, Oscar Muniz. Nice to see you.
How would America feel about that? Regardless of what the defense, once you're in a courtroom in the legal system and whatever, whether Kyle Rittenhouse has a defense or whatever, that's a whole other thing. But just think about public opinion and public perception and what would be allowed in our society. I think it would be a completely different feeling about the people who are on television talking about this and analyzing how the judges...
Well, it certainly would be for you, Don. I guarantee it would be for you. Oh, God.
Antics and the legal situation.
And look, when
oh, wait, what?
We're talking about...
Oh, no, that's the end. Okay. Anyway. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. Hey, before you do anything, stop, don't do it. Click the like button. There were like 30-some people here and only 22 likes. Hit the like button, please. And I'm going to go watch, I'm going to drive around a lot and watch the rest of the trial from today, and maybe I'll have some interesting... I got a feeling that the session today is not going to be as long because they're just working on jury instructions. And in fact, I don't think the jury is even... Oh, because they're going to be doing closing arguments on Monday. So it should be interesting. I thank you, Jada Clay, for the snippets you've been giving me. Was it Jada Clay? Oh, and good morning, Crack, too. And Brent Hayes. And I said hi to Oscar already. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. If you like what we do, hit the like button. Oh, there they are. You bunch of you did it. Thank you. And share the stream before, during, after the stream. Anytime you share the stream is great. And in fact, it helps a lot. You'd be surprised. A couple people that a couple people I met at the bar, at the trail stop, have been watching, and hope you get better, my friend. By the way, he had back surgery. And I think, let's see, I think that's it. If you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comments. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I want to thank a couple people who regularly comment in the comment section, because I don't always acknowledge them. Now, Tazzy, obviously I do, because Tazzy is always putting comment in the comment section, and you know how much I appreciate you, my friend. But also, real quick, where's my studio here? And let me go to the comment section. Holy shit, my internet's slow right now. I thought I closed that other window. I'm 25 away from 1,200 subscribers. So Foxby2, thank you, Lord Stanhope. I appreciate that. Cracked, Tazzy, Gunfox61, Jeffrey Russell Jr., Green Badger Outdoors, Dom O'Leary, Gamer Valine, Mira Vergita, Shiograph, N7 Honey Badger, and Tarideos. A bunch of you who do regularly. Check Your Logic is in there. Egg W. Oh, yeah, cool. Egg W2. And so those who put timestamps for when the stream starts or just put a comment, let me know you're here. I really do appreciate that. I do read them. I try to reply to comments every once in a while. I don't do it. I'm not the best at it, but at least I let you know with a little, what happened to all my hearts? I had hearts in all of these. Anyway, I'll fix that later. So, gang, y'all have a wonderful weekend. There's not going to be a Trail Stop stream tomorrow because I'm going to a football game in Des Moines. But I'll be back on Monday at my normal time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, right here on the Dawg Knight Channel. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend. My name's Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Have a great day. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thanks for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.